Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. Today is the 28th of October 2020. We're going to reflect on Luke 6:12 to 16. Listen. Now during those days Jesus went out to the mountain to pray, and he spent the night in prayer to God. And when day came, he called his disciples and chose 12 of them, whom he also called apostles. Simon, whom he named Peter, and his brother Andrew, and James and John and Philip and Bartholomew and Matthew and Thomas and James, son of Alphaeus, and Simon, who was called the Zealot, and Judas, son of James, and Judas Iscariot, who became a traitor. Gospel of the Lord. There are numerous instances when Scripture speaks about Jesus praying. He goes up a mountainside or to a garden or some other quiet place early in the morning to pray, as though to charge himself up for the day. In the passage we're reflecting upon today, he doesn't take off in the morning to pray. He spends the entire night in prayer. And we discover what he might be praying so hard about, because when morning comes, he calls his disciples and chooses the 12 who will be his apostles. One of them is introduced as Judas, with the added information that he was the one who would become a traitor. You would think Luke was a terrible storyteller because he's given away who the bad guy was right at the beginning of the story. Can you imagine reading a whodunit and being told who the murderer was right at the start? Well, if Luke reveals this fact at the beginning, it had to be for a reason. What could it be? Well, it could be to tell us that Jesus knew who all these men were and what each would do, and yet he chose them. So what happened during that time of prayer? This is pure conjecture, of course, but Jesus was probably consulting with his Father about this short list, and he was undoubtedly distressed about the inclusion of the one called Judas, who was on the list. He would have to live with this man for 3 years, call him his friend, teach him about love and mercy and forgiveness and other wonderful things, and then be betrayed by him. What a terrible, terrible thing. But he understood that Judas was a vital part of the story of salvation and consequently in Jesus' own life. Now we are sometimes betrayed by people that we have called our friends, people that we have loved and trusted, and the question always comes to us, usually in the darkest recesses of the night, why? We only loved them. And the reason is because they have their own role to play in our lives. Sometimes to prune us, sometimes to make us stronger, sometimes to bring us to the realization that we need to put our trust in God more than in man. I know that in my own life it has been to do all three. Therefore, if you have ever wondered why this has happened to you or is happening to you, the betrayal by a loved one, the rejection by those near to you, the desertion by people you have held close to your heart, people you have nurtured and nourished, understand that God has allowed it to happen for a purpose. And if you find yourself spending the night unable to sleep, let it be in the company of God, who will explain the reasons to you and make you understand the necessity of it all, and also give you the strength to deal with it, just as he gave Jesus that night. And remember, while you're at it, that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. And be at peace. God bless you.